What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com and FightfulWrestling.com. It is February 12th. It is our post-Raw show. I am joined by one Alex Pawlowski. Alex, we got a lot of love on the Twitter machine tonight.
We did. It was good to know that the catalyst for a lot of people falling in love with the Fightful post-show podcast was the night that wrestling died.
Part one. Yeah, the funny thing is I originally did that. We were putting together a trailer for something, and I wanted people to give me specific moments, but I've since pinned the tweet to the top of my Twitter if you all want to see it at Sean Ross Sapp on Twitter. But the overwhelmingly just heartwarming response has been really, really cool. Go head over there. Let me know what made you a regular viewer of the Fightful podcast. I mentioned on there that I like to have comedians and actors and businessmen and wrestlers and journalists on this show. That way you can break down all kinds of different aspects of an entertainment business that employs all those. I mean, because it's subjective, because it has acting, because it has comedy, it has wrestling. And, there are a lot of social issues that go into this as well. So I have really, really liked that response. So head over there. Let us know what you guys think. Of course, we have all kinds of video updates over at youtube.com/Fightful. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do so. Also, you may have noticed we're working a little bit with our friends over at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. If you all haven't subscribed to them on YouTube, go do that. I'm pretty sure all of you have at this point. They've got like 1 million subscriptions, or like 72,000. It's a lot. You'll see a lot of their videos in our articles. They do really, really great work. Happy to be doing stuff with them. Just great people over there. So keep your eye out on that and support them, because that supports us as well. Also, wanted to extend my condolences to the friends and family of Brian De Silva. Brian was one of the first friends that I ever made on Twitter. He is from the Toronto area that, for obvious reasons, I hold near and dear to my heart. He's from Mississauga. I lost touch with him over the last several years, and he passed away earlier this month. A huge wrestling fan. You may have seen that Cassius Ohno tweeted about it, and Progress honored him in the ring, which I thought was a great thing to do. He was a wonderful dude. I wish I would have kept in touch with him better, but wanted to extend my condolences to him, because an A-plus dude is that guy. And, this platform has brought me many of you. It's brought me a lot of friends, a lot of people that I might not be in the spot that I'm in right now if it weren't for Twitter. So getting to meet so many people on Twitter, including Brian, means a lot. And to lose one means even more. And it hurts and it sucks. So definitely wanted to pay respects to Brian as well. So if you knew him, my condolences. And if you didn't, you missed out on a great dude. This weekend, we had some news to get into before we get into Raw. Emma, now known as Tenille Dashwood, debuting for Ring of Honor, Alex. And they had one spot open in their Women of Honor tournament. And some of those names, it's rough. It's slim pickings for them. They needed a Tenille Dashwood. They needed an Emma to help anchor that, because to me, it's her and Deonna Purrazzo. But I think it's a brilliant move. And as I think we speculated, they added "It's All About Me" at the beginning of her theme song, and they can add whatever they want after that. That's the identifier there. I think it works.
Yeah, I wonder if they ever trademarked Emelina.
Oh, wow.
Because she could just use that, too.
That's a good point.
No, I miss her. God, just the worst timing for her to have bbeen released. Like, she could slide right in. We talked about this on a show before, and be the new leader, the in-ring leader of Absolution. Now that Paige can't wrestle anymore. She missed out on the first ever women's Royal Rumble. She's missing out on the first ever women's Elimination Chamber. And she really was a huge part of the women's revolution before the women's revolution ever even happened. And so I miss her on Raw, but I'm so glad to see her, back in the ring doing her thing, because I think she's great, and I wish her huge success in Ring of Honor.
couple of other plugs before we get into the Raw news stories. Head over to our forums. We got people talking about their WrestleMania 34 Dream Cards, 205 Live, Goldberg playing a burglar in a new commercial, an ECW reboot. You can talk about that and more. We have every topic you could think about, every subcategory you could think of there. Also, I have my exclusive interview with Raven. You all probably heard a couple of clips on the Listen Ya Boy last week. Also, Pro Wrestling Unlimited ran a clip as well. He talks about almost shutting down the power at WrestleMania 17. Lots of good stuff over there. So check that out. Also, Heather Hardy, who you all have heard me talk about on the Holy Smokes MMA podcast, a big-time boxer and now a Bellator MMA fighter, just kind of casually mentioned, like, oh, yeah, like when James Lynch asked her about wrestling, she's like, yeah, this guy kind of close to my gym always wanted me to train as a pro wrestler. And I'm like, no big deal. Then she's like, oh, yeah, it was Johnny Rodz, that WWE Hall of Famer that happened to have trained Taz and the Dudley Boys and other WWE Hall of Famers. So that story is up at Fightful.com as well. Alex, today WWE announced that Ivory was entering the Hall of Fame. Now, you won't hear me accuse her of being a great worker in the ring and like having classic matches, but man, as far as character work goes, she was dedicated, really good. Her right to censor stuff was dope.
No, yeah, no, it was great. She was excellent playing that character. I think a major part of this is the fact that she's a veteran of Glow, and that got over huge with pop culture. People who don't watch wrestling watched that show and loved that show and got kind of into wrestling because they loved that show. So to have a way of enveloping that into your Hall of Fame ceremony, I think is big for them. Not that she's not deserving, because I think she is. I think that in the era of Trish Stratus and Lita, like that era, the early 2000s, late 90s, I think she's absolutely third in the hierarchy of women's wrestling at that time. I mean, China is a completely different ball game because she was doing so many different things. She was, in and out of wrestling against men and women, this kind of thing. But like as far as pure women's wrestling, she was absolutely third behind Trish and Lita. And I think it's a good call. I mean, Jackie's in the Hall of Fame. Like at this point, like Ivory deserves to go in.
Yeah, I thought she was a great broadcaster too. I was a little surprised they didn't have her as the Mae Young Classic color commentator instead of Lita, because at least Ivory had some semblance of broadcasting experience before that, and she probably would have been better as well. But I mean, even with Mixed Match Challenge, my first call would have been to Ivory. I mean, I'm glad that Beth Phoenix is getting the opportunity, because more Beth Phoenix on any program is going to get a thumbs up from me, as long as she does anything resembling a competent job. But yeah, I'm all for Ivory being there. She had about a five-year run, I think, with WWE across her wrestling and her broadcasting. So, and she served as a trainer on Tough Enough. She wore a lot of hats for WWE.
Yeah, no, I think it's well deserved. And I mean, it's one of those things where you think about you'd be able to do this like with basketball and football, of like future Hall of Famers, and if everybody retires, like this year, the NFL Hall of Fame class is loaded.
Yeah.
Because everybody retired around the same time. So you got guys like Ray Lewis and Terrell Owens and all these guys going in at the same time. And you think about this group of women in the WWE right now. Yeah. If they all retire within a couple of years of each other, I mean, what's your hierarchy? Who gets in before whom?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, like, and there's no slight on that for anybody else. Like, I think almost everybody that held the women's championship is going to get in. Maybe not everybody that held the Divas championship will get in,
Yeah.
Like Kelly probably shouldn't get in. You know what I mean? I know I'm probably going to get harassed for picking at Kelly again. But first off, she'd have to have Tess' permission.
Right, yeah. She'd have to ask Tess' blessing.
Would he induct her from Beyond the Grave via that Hollywood medium?
Yeah, no, Hollywood medium would actually get up there and he'd hold a seance, and then Tess would give the induction speech through the Hollywood medium. It must see TV.
So who do you think inducts her?
Well, I mean,
they could do a Glow tie-in and put they could put Karma in there. They could
Yeah.
Bring in Allison Brie, maybe.
Her biggest rivalry was with Trish, was it not? I mean,
yeah.
Trish would be a great person to induct her. I mean, honestly, I don't know.
We just got news that Kurt Angle announced that both Rollins and Balor are going to be in the WWE Elimination Chamber match. It will be a 7-man Elimination Chamber.
They're just going to add another pod?
Yeah, I can't wait to see the fan fiction that emerges from Rollins and Balor being in the same chamber.
Or does the match start with three guys in the ring?
Yeah.
That makes more sense than trying to build chamber.
And we'll get to this later, but Miz in this match, like tonight, lost and is the first person in the chamber. Well, who's number 2? Like, that's the same.
Number 2 is the same thing as number 1. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, like I always, people be like, how many people have won the Rumble from the number 1 spot? And I'm like, Ray won it from like number 2, didn't he? That's the exact same.
Yeah.
And Vince, I think, won it from number 2. But hot dog. Hot dog. Here we go. John Cena, The Miz. John Cena comes out and says that he has to win at Elimination Chamber, alluding to the fact that he wants his 17th championship victory. What? You're shaking your head, Alex.
No, he didn't say that. He says he wants to be on the WrestleMania card. And he can't possibly get on the WrestleMania card, Sean, unless he wins Elimination Chamber. Like, what could they possibly find for John Cena
in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal beneath you, John Cena?
Because I'm pretty sure Tatanka was in it a couple of years ago.
That's true.
So I think you got a shot at being in the Dre.
Yeah, but so was Shaq, and Shaq's a big name.
It's true.
If they get Shaq on the card, that might push out John Cena.
I think if John Cena can't be in the championship match and has to slide all the way down to the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, I think he should face either Connor or Victor of the Ascension to see if he gets their spot.
It's going to be
it's very important.
It's going to be a tough choice. Actually, they'll probably have to have a match between Connor and Victor where the loser has the misfortune of being so far down on the card that they face John Cena at WrestleMania.
I know.
That's probably the only way that John Cena can get on this show. They're going to have to shoehorn in one of the Ascension. God damn, that's so stupid. But as maybe it was just me assuming in my mind, like, oh, he's alluding. Yeah, he wants to make history at WrestleMania by winning his 17th championship.
Yes. This is something that I've had a thought about that I don't know if I've ever expressed on the podcast, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Triple H is at 14. And I've always thought the absolute best way to do this would be to somehow get Trips 2 more reigns in there, and then they're both at 16, and the title is vacant, and it's Cena versus Triple H to see who breaks Flair's record. Like, I've always felt like that's the most epic way to do it because those 2 guys have absolutely been the biggest dudes in WWE over the last 15 years.
I'd be surprised if Triple H got to 16 at this point.
I know, me too, but I feel like he's certainly so close. Like, I think Randy's got 12, like Randy Orton, but like...
Yeah, I was just looking. Triple H does have 14, but he's a little more seasoned. He's in his Ron Perlman stage now, like as it pertains to looks.
But he's so good at being able to be like, I won the title at Rumble and I'm giving it up at Mania. Like it's just what he can do that 2 more years in a row. But whatever I'm saying, like I feel like John Cena just beaten Brock at Mania. It feels like there's no build up. Like I feel like there's got to be a build up to give John the record breaking 17th reign. And to me, I feel like this whole thing is set up for John Cena loses Elimination Chamber, and then it's like, well, now I don't get to be at Mania. and oh, gee whiz. And then here comes Taker. He's like, you can be Mania. You can face me. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. That's a horrible Undertaker impersonation.
Oh, it's terrible. It's so close to Braun. Most of my impersonations are Braun.
Yeah. Randy Orton is about to be 38 years old. He has 13. I would be thrilled if it never got beyond 13 because I can't imagine a scenario that you put Randy Orton in where I would be entertained by a title program that features him.
Lucky
Whatever.
number 13, and that's it.
Well, anyway, The Miz comes out. He and John Cena burn each other a few times. Cena says that Miz would have no chance against Brock Lesnar, which within the WWE realm, well, any realm, he wouldn't, and he shouldn't. John Cena challenges The Miz, but The Miztourage lay him out. Then Miz accepts the challenge.
That was so great. Like, it felt like it was Miz in the middle of a sentence. Like, why would I blah, blah. And then that was the surprise attack I've ever seen. And by the way, attention must be paid to Bo Dallas and how fly that dude looked tonight. Wow.
Those two terms do not belong anywhere near the same universe.
So true.
So Kurt Angle, the excellent general manager of Raw, comes out and says, "That's not how we do things here. You can fight the unconscious man, but if you lose, you're going number one in the chamber." I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's beyond the not putting this guy who just got jumped into concussion protocol as he's lying face down in a heap on the mat. Let's go ahead and have him kick off the show.
I thought they were gonna that when Angle comes out and says, "No, we're having this match, but it's going to be later tonight."
Yeah,
because basically what you started out is by saying, "Hey, that's not how we do things here on Monday Night Raw." As a matter of fact, that is exactly how we do things here on Monday Night Raw. Like, that's basically what he said. It was just like, what, Kurt, and he got really, really, really thrown off by everyone chanting "You suck" to his music while his music wasn't playing. Yeah, and he was like he poor Kurt. He had a couple of flubs tonight that he just couldn't.
Oh, he's not good with the scripts.
No, not so good with those.
Something that Michael Cole brought up later. He's like, haha, no teleprompters here on Raw, coach. And I'm like, yeah, just a script and a guy who qualifies for Social Security screaming in your ear. That's all.
Just that.
No big deal.
Just that instead.
This match was good. This has been the trend on Raw lately. Just like some good wrestling on this show. The Miz controls the majority early going. Cena hits a pretty ugly tornado DDT. We come back from a commercial to Cena applying an STF to the Miz. I always have people complaining about the STF from John Cena, and they're like, not realistic, doesn't look good. And I'm like, guys, listen, I have been put in shoot STFs in my day. I would imagine John Cena's, first off, not keen on breaking a guy's neck.
Right.
2, his forearms are roughly the size of city buses. So him applying that pressure turns into a jaw lock. You can make that work. So I'm completely fine with it. Miz works his way out. There's a figure 4. He eats an AA, kicks out. Michael Cole calls a yes lock, which was very clearly done meticulously for this story because The Miz has had long-standing issues with Daniel Bryan dating back over half a decade. And John Cena will be the guy's brother-in-law soon. It was very clear that move was done for a certain point, and Cole calls it the wrong move, which he did like 3 or 4 times tonight. And what I loved is that Corey Graves every single time pointed out the right move.
In the main event, he's like, oh, Bray Wyatt with a shoulder breaker to the throat. Wouldn't that be a throat breaker there, Mike? Yeah. It was so great. I love
unless the move was by Rollins unless Rollins was jamming his chiseled jaw into the shoulder of Bray Wyatt. Like maybe a Samoan could do that.
Yeah, maybe it was actually somebody hitting a shoulder breaker onto Bray Wyatt by jamming his jaw in there. Maybe, but I don't think so.
Yes. Miz gets out the STF, hits a skull crush, or the yes lock rather. Shit. Of course. Now I mess it up.
Yeah, there you go.
And we got demonetized. There we go. Hits a skull-crushing finale for 2. A super AA gets the win. This last segment after the commercial was just really, really good stuff. And Cena gives his armband to a fan after the match. Really nice moment there, too. I gave this match a 6.25 out of 10 on my match ratings, which you all can check out after every Raw, SmackDown, ROH, NJPW, WWE pay-per-view the following mornings. The way I do it, I start off at 5. It slides up or down. That based on time, entertainment, technique, all that kind of stuff. And I have 6 as an above average. I think this was definitely an above average match. Really good stuff. I really enjoyed it. What'd you think of this match?
I liked it. I'm a big fan of The Miz and how much he's improved in the ring. There's one of the moves that looks the most brutal in like shoot brutal in all the WWE, and it's so simple, is the Miz's snap DDT to a kneeling opponent. Like, because it always just looks so vicious and right in the top of the head. And there's the way, because so many DDTs look like you're kind of like rolling through it, like doing a somersault. That just looks bad. Looks really, really good. He hits it really well here. Cena and him have great chemistry in the ring. And there were a couple of times, though, tonight where guys were trying to hit either their secondary move or their finisher off the top rope in a way that I don't know how that would work. I really now want to see a skull-crushing finale from the top rope.
I do too.
Because now you've teased it. I don't know if it's possible, and I don't know if we'd ever get to a point where they're letting Miz hit that on people just by his character. But yeah, absolutely. I think that's how, if he ever wins the WWE title again, he should win it with a skull-crushing finale off the top rope. This was fun, and yeah, like we said, okay, so Miz gets to go in first.
Yeah.
Who's second? Because that's the same probability of winning is number one. And the fact they never brought that up
it's weird.
It's kind of stupid. It's just stupid.
I see a lot of people comparing it to star ratings, saying, so, oh, you gave it like a 3-star rating. Not the same. I don't have that up. My ratings are just a sliding scale. Go check it out. It's a good time. I post my podcast notes in that as well. That way I have something to guide these shows.
Well, Sean, when are you going to have your very first 11 out of 10 stars match?
I'm not shading anybody here. I did have a couple of 10s. I had Almas and Gargano at 10, and I had Jericho and Omega at 10. And I don't even think I gave Okada Omega 10. I may have given them like 9.5, 9 3/4, something like that. But I loved that Almas Gargano match. Really good stuff. What'd you think of the Nerdometer backstage?
Anything that shows the words, I'm no. I'm a hard and fast no on the words on the screen. The graphic of the Nerdometer I thought was fun.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That was cute. Okay, fine. But the words on the screen, I'm not on the SmackDown podcast, so I don't get to express my thoughts about the words on the screen thing. I'm wondering, like, I'm old, so I don't watch stuff on my phone. Like,
Kevin Dunn definitely figured out what Snapchat was recently.
Oh yeah, I have a TV. I have my laptop. I mean, I have like an iPad, which is bigger than a phone. Like, I don't know when I would ever watch an episode of SmackDown on my phone, but I know there are a lot of people who are like commuting on the subway, watching TV, and don't have their headphones in, and maybe they're taking in an episode of SmackDown, and now they know what people are saying by watching the screen. They get like subtitles that are big, and you could read them on your small phone. I'm wondering if that's a thing that I don't know about because I wouldn't do that. But it seems, unless that is a thing, and that's why they're doing it, that there is no reason for them to be doing what they are doing with words on the screen, and it is stupid, and I hate it. But it's not for me. It's for the kids with the Snapchats, and that's not me. I don't have the Snapchat.
I'm one of those kids with the Snapchats, and I hate it. I also hate the new Snapchat update. It can go square to hell. The Revival take out Balor Club's knees on the way down the ramp. It is our 4th Balor Club Revival match since Raw 25.
This roster, the Raw roster, is in such dire need of legitimate tag teams. The Bar is just hanging out, doing singles matches because they have nobody to fight against. Balor Club is versus the Revival because neither of them is over enough yet as a team to be in the place where they can challenge the Bar. And I guess the fourth most important current tag team on the roster is Heath Slater and Rhino, who regularly work main event. Like there's nobody on this roster. So, I mean, there's all these teams down in NXT. Like Heavy Machinery would immediately be the number one contender to the bar, and they're like 5th or 6th in NXT. So, I mean, bring up somebody. Where's my AOP?
I would much more enjoy a Bar versus Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy tag team. Like, I thought that they should have made that pairing. Just went with it. And then when Jeff comes back, you got all kinds of different things you could do with that.
The problem is that would require the WWE progressing a storyline, and they don't know how to do that. So, like, they're going to have a match at Elimination Chamber, and hopefully at that match they meld minds or something, and become one, and they're woken together or whatever, and that can be fun. But I have a suspicion that the match will end wonkily, and then they'll have another match at Mania, and maybe that'll be a blow off. But like WWE, like, I like long form storytelling, but only if it's like A to B to C to D, and not A to B 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 to B.
Sure. The Revival work over the knee of Gallows until a super kick stops it. I will say I liked one of Dash's bumps to the outside. That was very, very good. Carl Anderson hot tags are fun. He has a wonderful spine buster, which, has for years. Gallows go ahead.
He also screams hi-ya when he kicks people, which I like very much.
Gallows is dropped across the steps. Anderson eats a shatter machine. Revival wins. This was a match. It was a very... not a lot happened in this match, but when you're going for the 4th time in 3 weeks,
Yeah.
Kurt Angle comes out. He is rough on that mic. He announces that Ronda Rousey is signing her WWE contract Elimination Chamber, which gets a bunch of boos. The polarizing Ronda Rousey reaction is already here, and WWE just loves their polarizing, love them or hate them reactions.
Yeah, I think they do, and they don't, because this, like, it's early.
They don't, but they pretend they do.
Oh yes, because it's really early for people to be like crapping all over this whole Ronda Rousey thing. Like, she came out and she pointed, and I guess like this was not our take on it, but from what I hear, everyone was really mad that she didn't like come out and immediately like break people's arms. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I was like, for all we know, she's a babyface. We don't know anything about who she is yet in WWE parlance. And I love the idea that she's like, wow, I'm really happy to be here. And then 2 weeks later is like, gosh, I love being here, and now I'm gonna kick all your asses. Like, I'm really happy to be in WWE, because here I know I'm going to kick all your asses. There's like a lot of stuff you can do that, and to already be crapping all over it because she wasn't like mean mugging the camera. Like, it's just too early for that yet.
There are, a lot of people that are mad that she wasn't, doing the Largo loops in NXT before she came up too. Keep in mind, they're inducting a woman into the Hall of Fame who got her start on Glow with no wrestling. No wrestling experience ever.
If Rob Gronkowski or Gronkowski or whatever is
Anna calls
him, if he retires, he will sign with WWE the very next day, and he will have a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
like they want star power. They want star power, and like this is it.
Going from a high-level MMA and judo. Keep in mind, judo, I think her judo is going to translate exceptionally well to WWE. Yeah. I've said that before. She'll be able to do throws that, I've been following pro wrestling and MMA for decades that I've never seen before. She kind of did the hip toss on the fly against Triple H because he took a little step that she wasn't expecting. So we'll see how it goes. The crowd then boos Jason Jordan, and Like, I get it. He's a heel and all that stuff. And they expected this because Kurt Angle fired off a line saying that he doesn't approve of that. You got to be a real grade A piece of shit to be happy that a guy got neck surgery.
This is a weird point for WWE. Kind of made their bed and they're lying in it. They told a giant lie that Jason Jordan is Kurt Angle's son, and everybody kind of hated that. And then when they felt like Jason Jordan was getting preferential treatment, not from his fake dad, Kurt Angle, but from the WWE, they were like, this sucks. We don't like this guy. Stop shoving him down our throat. And they never got over that. And to WWE's credit, they played along with that. And Jason Jordan changed his character and became this guy that we all love to hate. Then he got legitimately hurt. And you can't boo a guy now that he's hurt, but you also can't have Kurt Angle come out and go, as a dad and as Jason's father, like, but the whole point of this is that's how we started hating this guy, because you lied about being his dad. And so I feel bad for Jason Jordan, the man who had neck surgery. And I think it's a really stupid thing for WWE to keep up the appearances of, I am absolutely 100% Jason Jordan's real dad, and as his real dad, I feel this way. It's just you're hitting that hard.
Why would they scrap that right now, though?
No. I'm saying they're hitting that too hard. Like, you don't need, I think Kurt said he was Jason's dad like 3 times during this promo. You just say it once and move on, but he hit it so hard it was like, but you're not, though. I felt like that was the reaction from the crowd, not necessarily screw that guy.
No, it's been screw that guy for a while. Did you see some of the responses on Twitter? Like, there are some people that are really like happy that Jason Jordan maybe is off TV because they don't like him, but man, to be happy about that, it's a scummy thing. And
if for those people, you can all go straight to hell. Yeah. But for the people who are like, hey, Kurt, stop with the like reminding us that you're his dad since you're not. I can understand that part, but not the other stuff.
Sure. Seth Rollins comes out. He kind of sympathizes with Jason Jordan, says, I know it's hard on him, but I've been there. Jordan will miss WrestleMania, so they say. Seth Rollins is offered a new partner by Kurt Angle,
Angle's just great. He's like, hey, I know last week that I said you were never allowed to face the bar again, but hey, maybe I'll just break that thing I said. Because he doesn't care.
Yeah. Seth Rollins makes his way into the championship match. He makes his way into the qualifier rather later that evening. We'll get to that in a bit. Backstage, Bray Wyatt spooky promo. He complains about Matt Hardy. The bar shows up. They kind of bond. They said that Jason Jordan and Dean Ambrose are probably bonding in rehab somewhere over how bad Seth Rollins is as a partner. I thought that was brilliant. Reigns makes fun of Cesaro's braces. Then Reigns indicates he's going to beat up Sheamus. Titus backstage hypes up Apollo Crews before the qualifier. This is really bad dialogue, but it's the most personality we've ever been shown out of Apollo ever, Alex.
Yeah, I what a godsend Titus Worldwide has been to this guy. Like, it's way too early for him to be in the Elimination Chamber type area, like being one of the top 6 or 7 guys vying for a shot at the world title. But it won't be for much longer if he continues to improve like this. Like, he's shown out in this match tonight, and he was great against The Miz. He's been really good. Like, this is the kind of guy that this version of Apollo Crews absolutely is a guy who could take the IC title off The Miz at some point. But which is funny to think of, because a couple years ago they had a feud that was so go nowhere. They scrapped it after a month. Like, when feuds in the WWE last like 6 months, this thing was like over and done in one match, and he was like, "What? You're out, kid." this is so good. He's improved so much.
We get some more weird phone promos. You all know, I don't need to review these. They're weird phone promos where they say generic stuff. Bayley defeated Sasha Banks. I would not be surprised, and I have reached out. I would not be surprised to find that this had a couple of minutes chopped from it because they were running low on time. But it's still a good match. Bayley had a nice counter of the Sasha's corner knees after having her shoulder worked over. Then Bayley clotheslined Sasha real hard. Sure wish I could have seen it.
Yeah.
Side suplex from Bayley looks great. She is one of the best in WWE, I think, at the running knees and running kicks. Like hers look really crisp, really good.
Yeah, no, they look vicious. I mean, it's good. Gosh, I love these two women in a ring together. They're so good. There's so much chemistry between these two. I mean, like literally, you retweeted this and I retweeted it as well. Give these two women 20 plus minutes and get out of their way for WrestleMania and watch how good it's going to be. Just do it.
Yeah.
It's going to, but the problem is it wouldn't be for the title. And I feel like WWE won't want it to outshine whatever they're doing with Asuka or with Ronda Rousey or whatever. So they're going to like keep it under wraps, but like, don't like, let this thing go. Let him go.
Hey, Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle wasn't for the title. And you know what?
Yeah.
It was a goddamn great match.
Yeah.
Bayley misses a flying elbow drop and gets put in the bank statement. Good on Coach for pointing out that when Sasha was posting her foot on the ropes, that she can't do that.
Yeah.
It is illegal to leverage the ropes in that way. A super Bayley to belly wins it. I've noticed on commentary, they've been calling out a lot of these errors and holes in judgment and holes in logic a lot more. And good on them for doing that. If that's Coach's role, he's been doing an exceptional job at it. And I think each week he has fit in more and more on commentary.
Yeah, I like it too. It was one of those things where I feel like at some point Coach is going to say that and we're like, no, damn it, we want to forget about that rule for this match.
Yeah,
because they do that over and over again, where they create these rules and then they decide whether or not they're going to keep to it. Like, you know, I don't know, the referee's decision is final, except in this one particular case where it's not for storyline reasons. You know, so we'll see. But I did like that he pointed that out, because as I was watching it, I was like, she can't just do that, can she?
Yeah.
And as I was willing to go, oh well, whatever, because they just forgot about that rule this time. Coach was like, hey, no, you can't do that. I was like, that's what I thought. So I'm glad, because like the whole thing is I've been watching so much WWE that I just watch it and go, you know what? Who cares? You know,
as your boy reported 2 months ago in the Fightful Wrestling Weekly, which drops every Friday morning. I got about 1,000 words worth of exclusives in there. Just some stuff that maybe you all missed, some stuff that doesn't fit in otherwise. Vince McMahon is trying to make Biscuit Butt work. And he is still trying to make Biscuit Butt work. But Team Biscuit Butt lost to Absolution tonight. Backstage, Alexa Bliss says that she's jealous of Mickie James, and that's why she said all those mean things about her. Mm-hmm. She's upset that Mickie James is able to balance being a mother, a WWE superstar, and looks so good. And I was like, you know what? Not a bad excuse. Not a bad excuse. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville just both scream future stars to me. They, in their own ways. Graves bringing up Deville's comfortability inside a cage as she's heading into Elimination Chamber. Brilliant. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Also, Paige screaming at Alexa Bliss. She is a natural in a managerial role.
Yeah.
She can do that just like naggy, just get in your head type of thing so well. Mandy Rose hits Angel's Wings for the win. And boy, because of those flappy pants, this looked pretty hairy for a few seconds, didn't it?
It did. It did. It's interesting that you mentioned the thing about Paige. Like, it still weirds me out. We haven't heard her on a mic since the news about her neck. And it's like, she's out there with them. They're not trying to hide her, but like the whole point of Absolution was it was like Paige bringing these two girls with her to take over the women's division. And now the girls still have matches and she's there, but she's, I guess, kind of their leader, but we wouldn't know. She's just there. So I figured there's got to be something, hopefully, in the build-up to WrestleMania, if you're going to use these women at all, where Paige gets on the mic and says what she's thinking. Or maybe she doesn't even address the whole injury thing. She just talks, because I thought she was doing such great promos in the weeks leading up to the injury, and I miss it.
She was really comfortable on the mic. She really was. Elias heals the crowd. And he does it well. He has the crowd in the palm of his hands. He is a master at it. And on the stage is Braun Strowman with what I called a cello, but it was actually a double bass, I understand.
Yep. Yes.
He sings a song. He could have made it rhyme a little bit better. He could have rhymed understand and catch these hands, but he didn't. But you know what? I'm going to let it slide. This was perfect for what for what Braun Strowman is, and they're making him a little more human, making him more entertaining, and still finding a way for him to tear shit up. And you know, there are those people that are sick of him tearing stuff up. I see it every week. How many more times can he tear stuff up? Hey, if they keep finding cool stuff for him to tear up, I'm going to keep enjoying it and keep watching it.
You could have ended what you just said with finishing it with just, this was perfect.
Yeah,
it was perfect. Elias doing his great healing the crowd. San Jose hates it when you call him the Bay Area. When you were comparing him to San Francisco, that's great. Love it. Wonderful. It's all specific. And then, ladies and gentlemen, Braun Strowman. And when that was said, I could not have anticipated how the greatness of what this is the greatest segment in the history of television. I'm not going to accept any arguments against it. The man,
the night that wrestling was revived.
Yes. Say this night saved wrestling. He stood there, he stood in the spotlight, and he's like, one sec. He goes out and he comes back with a double bass. He sits on his stool and he plays the double bass so hard, Sean Ross Sapp, for a total of 6 seconds that he breaks all of the strings with his massive hands. You know how hard that is to do? Like, I guess I don't know my own strength, and I broke all the damn strings in this thing, so I can't play it no more. Guess all that's left for me to do is come down to the ring and smash you over the head with it.
Music is stupid, and I don't like it. That's him. This was a home run. This was a lot of fun. You're either going to love this segment or you're going to hate this segment. I don't think I'm going to find anybody that's like in the middle on this one.
The people who hate this segment, the people who want Braun to just be super heel monster, doesn't have a sense of humor. Like, I don't know. That's fine for our Lars Sullivan in NXT, who couldn't do this segment at all. I mean, maybe he can, but so far we haven't seen anything from him that will allow us to believe that. Like, and his ceiling is giant monster who beats people up, and that's it. Braun's ceiling is the stratosphere. Like, I don't know what this guy is capable of, because in the ring, like, he does things like he's running drop kicks and stuff. And he tried to end a match with Roman Reigns last year by doing a frog splash. Like, this guy is amazing in the ring. He can pick up ambulances with the aid of hydraulics, and he's a world-class comedian. Like, I don't know this is the most perfect definition of what the guy is, and they're not doing the guy stuff with him yet. I know they will. They will. I want it now. I want it yesterday. Put all of the belts on this guy and give him a Grammy for Best Songwriter as well.
Son of a bitch. So, this was great. I really enjoyed it. Roman Reigns, Sheamus, they had a good match as well. The main event of WWE TLC 2005.
Wow.
We got it for free. Or 2015, not 2005. Man, I'm high as a kite coming off of that one. Not literally. Not literally.
No.
Reigns cracks Sheamus in the face, and Sheamus is called Shamey by Cesaro. But we got this one for free, Alex.
I know.
Main event TLC 2015. Reigns gets hit with one of the nastiest looking rolling sentons I've ever seen on the outside of the ring. That was stiff. Sheamus works over Reigns. Reigns blasts Sheamus with a great Superman punch, slick off of the brogue kick counter. Reigns effortlessly powerbombs Sheamus, then eats a gross-looking pump knee after being distracted by Cesaro. Reigns goes outside, hits Cesaro with a Superman punch of his own, catches Sheamus with an equally sick-looking spear, gets the win. This was a solid match.
This is fine. This is
pointless, but fine.
As good as any of their matches in that ridiculous feud where Rollins went down with the knee and they had to figure out what to do. And they were like, hey, Sheamus has the Money in the Bank contract. Let's do that. Yeah, that was a low point for me in WWE, was that whole storyline. I mean, out of necessity, they really didn't have anything else that they could do at the time. But the matches were all fine. Like, the storyline wasn't great. This is one of those things where, like, hey, don't say anything bad about my friend Seth Rollins. I'm gonna beat you up, and then he did. I honestly don't know what the bar is doing. Like, do they have a match at Elimination Chamber? Like, if they do, they're gonna have to throw it together next week. Like, the Elimination Chamber card is, at this point, is Nia versus Asuka and the 2 chamber matches. They haven't mentioned anything else. Like, there's not going to be an IC title match because Miz is in the chamber. I don't know. Like, they're just going to, like, put all the tag teams into a tornado tag, like, versus bar. I don't know what else there is to put on this show. The cruiserweight, there's no cruiserweight title match. Maybe you get like a second round match or something in the cruiserweight tournament. But at this
was there
point,
anything cruiserweight tonight?
Nothing. There
wasn't a single cruiserweight segment tonight.
That's
in the middle of a tournament. Not even a highlight video, right?
That's weird because last week's 205 Live was fire.
Oh, like, yeah.
That's Kalisto's best match in WWE.
205 Live usually is fire in the ring.
Versus Lince Dorado last night, it was Kalisto's best match. It was great. Then you had Roddy Strong come up from NXT and shock the world by beating Hideo Itami, who's already on 205 Live. Plus, with Triple H running 205 Live now, you got to wonder, has he picked Roddy Strong as his boy who's going to win the tournament and take over the top of 205 Live? We have no idea, but that's certainly a possibility with Triple H running things. And what happens now? On the show that Vince still runs, there's no mention of Triple H's guys, which is just, I mean, I'm not saying that's the reason, but it's weird. You know, like, I don't know.
Main event, Elimination Chamber qualifier. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor defeated Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt, and Apollo Crews. This was exceptional, and WWE usually does 3+ person matches just really, really well. I thought this was a chance for Apollo Crews to shine, and I thought he did really, really well. He cracked Wyatt with an apron moonsault right off the bat. And then there was a zoom on his kip up.
Yeah.
Got to make sure people see it. Bray goes on a hot streak. Rope hung jawbreaker, Uranagi. He stops the Tower of Doom, which made me super happy for a while. He kills Rollins with a clothesline as well. Hardy had to wait a little bit on Rollins when going for a twist of fate on Wyatt and ended up getting clothesline himself. Then Seth comes off the top with a double blockbuster that looked really good. Rollins misses a Phoenix splash. Then Bray misses his sister Abigail. Hardy catches him with a twist of fate. Then Balor breaks it up with a coup de grace. Then he walks into a curb stomp from Rollins, and Crews breaks it up. An awesome sequence of misses and hits there. Wyatt gets Sister Abigail on Hardy outside the ring. Crews with a fall-away Samoan drop and a standing moonsault on Rollins, which I thought looked great. And then a goddamn Tower of Doom spot ends it. but Rollins and Balor get the pin. And as you mentioned off the air, Tony Schiavone should have been here.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? We're out of time. I don't know.
The tape machines are rolling. We are desperately out of time. We'll talk to you next week.
Saturday on TBS.
That's what this was. And I think the WWE missed a golden opportunity to keep us hanging for a whole week. But instead, they were like, I guess 7 dudes in the chamber. I would have loved to have been hanging the whole week, and they could have easily made me believe through their silence that we were going to get Rollins versus Finn Balor for the last spot. Now that would have been a damn fine match and a lot of fun to watch, but instead, I'm fine with this as an outcome, but I really wanted to be able to enjoy the suspense at least until tomorrow morning before they were like, yeah, sure, we'll build another pod. Or, hey, the 6th pod is going to be a shark cage hanging above the ring, or, whatever. But I personally hope it's going to be a triple threat that starts the match. I think that's what they're going to do. But yeah, this whole match was great. Everybody got a chance to shine. Bray Wyatt always looks great in these kinds of matches because he gets a chance to just go full bore, 112%. While he's in there doing stuff, and then he can take a rest. And he doesn't have to suffer through all those stupid rest holds and stuff like that. But one of my favorite Bray Wyatt stuff is the thing that he did to Rollins where he's got his full back to somebody, and then he's got eyes in the back of his head, turns around for the clothesline. Love that spot. The double blockbuster was great. I was watching the little sequence between Rollins and Apollo Crews, and I was like, I could watch 5 of those matches. Those two guys work really well together. This was all really, really great. I personally love when they give guys good reasons to be out of the match for good. Matt Hardy taking a Sister Abigail on the floor. That's great. Get him out. He's done. You don't have to worry about him anymore. And yes, I agree with you. A Tower of Doom spot to end it was kind of cheesy. However, into the absolutely perfect double pin where each guy is pinning Bray Wyatt and doesn't see that the other guy is doing it. That's perfect. Yeah, I'm really excited for this 7-man chamber match that really only has one guy who's going to win it, which is unfortunate. I really wish it was one of those things where we didn't know that they were planning this thing for years in advance. So that we could be convinced that maybe Finn Balor, this is the way he gets his shot at Brock, or maybe they finally do the right thing with Braun, or Rollins gets a chance to have a one-on-one with Brock when Rollins is the babyface. But we know it's going to be Roman. The match is going to be a lot of fun. I just wish the outcome wasn't a foregone conclusion.
I enjoyed that main event. I loved it. I'm excited for Elimination Chamber. I think that main event's going to be great, especially with these ingredients and the new chamber. Very excited for that. Of course, we will preview that on next week's show. You all have probably noticed I've taken some individual videos from these podcasts and put them on our YouTube page. Show those some love. Spread them out there. It might be a quicker, easier way for people to find out about Fightful.com. We're still a very young site. We've not even been around for 2 years, and we've made some great leaps, and that is in large part because of you. A couple of notes for tonight. Alexa Bliss's 2nd Raw match since the beginning of November.
Yeah, that is odd. I mean, it's certainly not her defending the title, which was the point of contention last week, but I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why. She's working the house show circuit. She's not injured. I think she's improving in the ring every time. So get her in the ring more.
Yes. Jushin Thunder Liger will take on Rey Mysterio at Strong Style Evolved New Japan. That's a coup.
I love the image in my head of Vince McMahon just apoplectic, just so angry that first Jericho goes over to Japan and now the little guy in the mask. What the hell's going on? Like I think that's really funny to me. But that's a match that I'm gonna watch. because I think they did it like 1996 or something. Like they had a match like in Japan forever ago, and here's part two, like 2 decades later.
So I think it's a good move on New Japan's part. They got a guy who has a lot of buzz on him at the moment too.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. That's smart. They got to do that. You got to drum up. But here's the thing. I guess you don't have to do that. You sold the show out already.
That's true.
So imagine if they had put it in a 10,000 seater and Cody Rhodes made that like bet, like a Ring of Honor or New Japan or whoever wouldn't do a 10,000 seater. I think it was maybe Ring of Honor wouldn't do one, but my God, based on the buzz that New Japan's getting in Long Beach, I'm not putting it out of the question for All In. Like, and who knows who Cody Rhodes and those guys are going to get for All In as well.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, please visit Fightful.com. We have all your news there across MMA, pro wrestling, boxing. You don't like one, you can separate them individually. We have exclusives. We have events, photos, videos, podcasts, all that stuff. Stay up to date on the latest cards. We have stuff at Fightful.com every single day you will not find at other wrestling websites, either because we get their exclusives or they just are afraid to run our stuff. My God. They're afraid of losing business to Fightful.com because of good people like you all who come to us and don't go anywhere else. Hot dog.
Hot dog indeed.
Hot dog. I appreciate all of you. Alex, how's your week looking?
Jam-packed, man. There's a lot of stuff. Just my wife is starting a brand new job and she's working extra hours to train the person that's taking over for her one job, while she herself is getting on board at the other job. So it's just me on super daddy duty by myself. And this one is now mobile and loves to get into things she shouldn't. So it's just an active level of panic at all times, thinking my daughter's going to cause her own demise by pulling something heavy down on top of herself.
By the way, guys, I have reached out to WWE's PR department and those within WWE about the idea that WWE pay-per-views may be co-branded moving from WrestleMania 4th. Backlash in May. Ticket holders got an email today indicating and updating them on the fact that it would feature both Raw and SmackDown stars. So we will see about that. What do you think about that, Alex?
Whoa. I was told specifically that Survivor Series is the one night a year when Raw and SmackDown go head-to-head. Now, maybe they're going to keep the matches separate. God, I hope so. Otherwise, the WWE was lying to us, Sean. They couldn't be doing that, right? Right?
They would never. They would never. Guys, thank you all. Leave us a thumbs up, subscribe, follow Alex at Pawlowski the Fourth, follow me at Sean Ross Sapp, follow us at Fightful Online. We have the SmackDown post show tomorrow night. We have the List and Your Boy, our flagship show, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. It is a ball. If you haven't checked it out, you have to check it out. Also, the Holy Smokes MMA podcast tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern if you're watching this on Tuesday. Until next time, guys, we are out.